Forget what you heard. Yeah, boy!
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Forget What You Heard. I'm Aaron.
And I'm Luke.
Week 4, baby, of the NFL season. We're back on track. We're ready to go. A lot of, storylines, things to go over. We're going to go over all the slated games, what happened, what didn't happen, what we wished happened. Who's looking good, who's not. I got one thing to say. If you come at me with small brain talk, I don't want to hear it. But before we get into this episode, there's only one thing we need to hear right now, and I know you guys need to hear it too. How you doing, Brother Bear?
I'm doing good, Postman. Thanks for having me. Happy to be here. Happy to deliver on this Week 4 recap. Touch base on what happened this past week. A lot happening, like you said. I'm happy to jump into it and figure out where we're going, where this sail is sailing.
There's only one rule on this podcast, Luke.
What's that?
No small brain chatter.
Can we do spoilers?
No, I prefer we don't do any spoilers.
Okay, so there's 2 rules.
Never mind. We can do spoilers. There's only one rule, man. No small brain chatter.
Okay, I'm for it.
All right, man. Where do we get started on this, man? Week 4. Let's do the Thursday night game.
Ooh.
The Cincinnati Bengals and the Miami Dolphins.
Yes, indeed, man. Obviously, the biggest news in this one is the Tua.
Ooh, Tua got mollywopped.
He got hit, man. That was a nasty-looking hit, man. I hate seeing that stuff.
And I think the NFL's interviewing Tua today to see, if there's anything going on under the table. Because, apparently had a concussion week 3, came back in and played, and then that happened, and it looked pretty gruesome. His hands were, not doing what they're supposed to do. He was immobilized and taken to the hospital, and you never want to see that. It was a sad and scary sight, but prayers to Tua and his family, and hopefully we get this resolved. Luke, let me tell you something. We don't want head injuries, and we hate to see them. Ain't that right?
Yeah, man, it's a horrible thing. I mean, just Tua's injury, I was watching it, and it was a big hit. I was like, dang, he's hurt. And then they zoom in, you see his hands just locked in, this crazy position. It made my stomach hurt, dude. I'm not going to lie. I had trouble going to sleep that night. I'm not going to lie to you guys. And it's bad. And then the cart coming out and everything, you're at that point in time, even as a player, it's hard for you to focus back on football after seeing something like that. And it's tough, man. And best wishes, hopefully, he's got motion in his extremities. He's back in Miami. It's just, for it to happen in back-to-back weeks like that, like the week before, the wobbles, when he stood up, he could barely walk. And then to see it happen like this, man, it's just like, man, football is very dangerous, man. And I hope I'm going to be rooting for Tua.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear that you're thinking of the person rather than the player. I think a lot of us as fans, we say, you don't care. We just care about our fantasy teams. If you're going to be, he's out for the rest of the game, he got me 3 points. Put a neck brace on and put a little extra helmet on and get out there. But really, I'm glad you brought that up. It's about the person. It's bigger than football, Luke.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm glad you brought that up because we really need to, hammer that home here on Forget What You Heard. But let's get into the numbers, man.
Okay.
Tua started out real hot. He was 8-14, 110 yards. He had the pick. A little deep ball to Tyreek that had a little too much air under it. But after he left the game, Teddy Toilet Water makes an appearance, baby. And I think this game proves to me that Tyreek Hill is QB proof.
Yeah.
I think I mean, he probably had like 60 yards with Tua, and he ended with 160. You know,
Mm-hmm.
Tyreek's just that guy. I guess. I mean, did you watch the game? Did Teddy look like normal Teddy, or did he have a bigger helmet on?
Nah, he looks like the same guy. There should have been a second interception, but he didn't. I think it was Eli Apple. He didn't stay in bounds. I mean, it's just the same guy. You know, he took some shots down the field, but I mean, having these talented receivers here in Miami will make any quarterback look better, I think. So, I, there's not a lot, like you said. I mean, it's Teddy two butter mittens. Like it's not like he's gonna come out here and you know put on some flamers, tear up the game. That's not what he's gonna do. So, he's a good backup quarterback. I mean, it's nice to have Teddy Bridgewater, knowing that Tua does have some injury history. But I mean, for the most part, it was a strong performance by Teddy Bridgewater. I'll give him that. We'll see how it goes.
I just thought of a new nickname for Teddy Bridgewater.
What is it?
Teddy Two Head. Because his head is gigantic. It's the size of 2 human heads.
That's pretty good, dude.
All right, let's go. Thank you. Let's go to the rushing. Raheem Mostert, 15 carries, 69 yards. Man, Chase Edmonds, 5 carries, 6 yards. Luke, there's a Chase Edmonds truther to the day you die. What's going on, man? Lay it out for us, man. I don't know. I don't really understand what's going on. Is it favoritism because Mostert was in San Francisco with Mike McDaniel? What's going on here?
No, I think it's I think because Mostert can do the zone running like what he did in San Francisco, and he's a little bigger back than Chase Edmonds. He can kind of handle a bigger workload, but I mean Chase Edmonds, he dropped a touchdown on the opening drive. I mean he later found a receiving touchdown in the game, but having only 5 carries to Raheem Mostert's 15 is kind of crazy. But Raheem Mostert's done a good job so far with what he's done, and I mean he had more rushing yards than Joe Mixon.
We'll get into that.
But in terms of Edmonds, I mean I'm not sure.
Is it a hold? Is it a drop? What situation is this?
It's just weird how like going into this year, like Chase Edmonds was like we all thought he was in a perfect situation.
Got the money.
Coming to Miami. With McDaniel, like how are they going to use Chase Edmonds? And it hasn't really been what we expected, but the process was right.
Yeah, it's just weird. I guess you just wait for a Mostert injury. He's pretty injury prone. I know we talked about Tyreek Hill being QB proof, but is Jalen Waddle QB proof with Teddy Bridgewater at the helm?
QB proof and for fantasy?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean you're playing him every week.
You have to, but you don't expect him to put up not the same numbers he had with Tua, do you?
No.
A lot less?
I'm not sure Teddy can sustain 2 fantasy, high-end receivers. Even in Denver last year, we saw Cortland was kind of irrelevant and Judy was kind of the guy.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if Teddy's good enough to do that, but I mean, Tyreek did just fine, like you said, but it definitely hurt Jalen Waddles. I don't know if that's because, like what if next week it's Jalen Waddles' game and then Tyreek isn't putting up those numbers?
In my humble opinion, I believe that Tyreek Hill is going to be just fine. I do worry about Jalen Waddles' outcome, but I mean, he could, I'm thinking like 6 receptions, 60 yards, and a touchdown maybe next week. I don't know. I don't think he'll be completely phased out, and he'll still be definitely a must start, but it's just not going to be the boom, 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 bang game. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't think so. And with Teddy, you're probably not going to throw the ball as much as you probably would with Tua.
What's his name?
Teddy Two Buttermittens.
Teddy Two Head?
Yeah.
All right, let's go to the other side of the ball.
Yes, please.
We have the Cincinnati Bengals. Joe Burrow finally got off to Schneid a little bit. 20 of 31, 287 yards, and 2 touchdowns, baby.
You got off the toilet.
Yeah, it's about time, man. You got to poop or get off the bend. Joe Mixon, goodness gracious, he got that work. 24 carries, 61 yards, womp womp. He averaged 2.5 yards a carry, finally got his touchdown. Receiving, T. Higgins, boy howdy. 9 targets, 7 catches, 124 yards, and a touchdown, a big 59-yard burn and burn. Jamar Chase, 6 targets, 4 catches, 81 yards. Tyler Boyd, 5 targets, 2 catches, 47 yards. Hayden Hurst got a touchdown on 27 yards and 3 catches. The biggest thing to me is Joe Mixon and his yards per carry. He's running on sawdust, man. They improved their offensive line, but he can't get over 3 yards per carry. I don't think it's Mixon. I think it's chemistry or something. Their run blocking isn't what it will be, I think. I think Joe Mixon's fine. I think go get him if you can, but
You know what this situation for Joe Mixon reminds me of?
Saquon?
It reminds me of Najee Harris from last year. Because he's still seeing some work in the receiving game with 4 catches, 4 targets. He's getting the rushing attempts with 24, but it's not efficient touches. I mean, you see him running. I mean, averaging 2.5 yards a carry isn't. I mean, you can fall forward and get 3 yards. And I think it does come to the chemistry of the offensive line. I mean, it's all revamped, new offensive line, new players just getting adjusted to each other, finding when to double team, what holes to open up, which guys you need to hit. And I think that takes weeks to get figured out. And it just reminds me of Najee's season last year where the work will be there. Eventually, you're going to have your games. And I think Joe Mixon's fine. I think he's a great buy low. I think eventually we're going to start to see Cincinnati starting to string some good offensive games moving forward. But yeah, I mean that's what Joe Mixon's getting on.
I forgot to mention the score. The Bengals won 27-15. I wanted to get into the wide receivers a little bit. T. Higgins has been, real good on them. Better than Jamar Chase. That was a bold prediction of mine. Is it because Jamar Chase is getting the extra defender over there? They're doubling a lot. Is that the reason, or is T. Higgins a stud as well and just deserves, the credit, the credit for the reason he's putting up these monstrous, magnificent, marvelous numbers?
I mean, T. Higgins is a stud for sure, but I think it's mostly due to the double teams. I mean, last year Cincinnati running all those deep routes with Chase, finding him down the field, but a lot of teams are playing that prevent, man, that cover 3, cover 4 on them. Get those 2 deep safeties, have a corner shade over to Jamar Chase's side. But yeah, man, it's been a T. Higgins show. He's 9 targets.
I love it.
I think in the games that were both T. Higgins and Jamar Chase have played, Higgins has had more yards and receptions and targets. And, I mean, a lot of that has to do with the doubling because Chase is a home run hitter, but I think T. Higgins is a really, really, really good football player. So it really helps you out knowing that Chase will be covered, but I have such a good receiver on the other side where he can still put up big numbers. We can still have a functional offense knowing that Jamar Chase is going to get that extra work.
Do you know the origin of T. Higgins' name?
I don't.
His dad loved golf.
Okay.
And his favorite part of golfing is driving.
Mm-hmm.
What do you use on in the box?
You got to pull out that ping 420, dude.
What do you hit off of?
You tee it up.
T. Higgins.
Tee it up, Higgins, dog.
He's named after that little thing you put the ball on.
Tee it up, man. That's what we play.
Yeah, teed up Higgins, man.
Tee it up, Higgins.
I like that. You have anything more on this game?
Yeah, I think for Burrow, he had a pretty solid game. The opening drive for the Bengals was good. They then kind of struggled. And Zach Taylor, the the head coach. He makes some of these strange play calls. He's very predictable. It seems so far this year. We'll have to see how that goes. But I don't know, man. The Bengals don't have that juice around them this year. Maybe it's because Mixon and Jamar Chase really haven't been.
I think it's the offensive line.
But we haven't seen like those big plays that we were accustomed to last year.
But you don't think the offensive line has played a factor in all this?
No, it does. But it did last year too. You know, it was always, the Bengals offensive line stinks. And
Well, maybe it's because Jamar has more attention this year.
maybe they've been figured out.
Maybe. We shall see.
Get healthy, too. I love you.
Oh, get healthy, brother. I love you. I love you. I just miss you.
I love you, Cams.
Let's go over the pond, shall we?
Oh, we're going Minnesota Vikes.
Ooh, crumpets and tea, boys. The Vikings and the New Orleans Saints play over in London, man.
Yep.
We had some substantial news. I think Michael Thomas was ruled out maybe a day before, and then Alvin Kamara. You had to be an early bird to get him out of your lineup and switch him out for someone that isn't as good. That's the problem with these London games. I want to get your opinion first and foremost, just about these London games. Do you like, dislike, or are you indifferent?
I would say I'm indifferent, but I would say that for 99% of the things that happen in my life. So I'm going to go ahead and say I enjoy it. Man, I'm happy the London crowd's able to see some actual football and not football, you know what I mean? So
You said the same word.
it's the same thing, dude. Think about it.
I guess. No, it's not.
It's football and football.
The crowds are pretty good, and I like how the crowds don't really know what's going on. Like, they just wear jerseys.
They're loud.
But they'll wear like a Tom Brady jersey to a game where Tom Brady's not playing.
I kind of like that, man. There's
I do too. Like, it's like a smorgasbord of just different jerseys. Like, I saw an Aaron Hernandez.
Gosh.
They don't care, man. They
Prison,
probably got
man.
it at like I don't know. They just probably get a jersey and go. They probably don't know who they're wearing. But I like the passion of the London games. Sometimes I like the earliness. Unless it, in fantasy wise, it can kind of be a like stressful situation. But overall, I'd say, oi, I'm ready.
Yeah, I was in a fantasy league one time with a guy that lived in the UK. And he knew what he was doing, man. They're pretty good at it. They know
Pretty good, isn't it?
They know their stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's some, but I think for the most part, they're about the real football.
And it's cool too, because getting back to like them wearing different jerseys, like they're not from this area. Kind of like us, like we kind of grew up liking Chelsea, but we don't have any correlation to the location or anything. So like them, they can just like find a team like Detroit or like somewhere any team and just be a fan.
They don't like. We don't know what Chelsea looks like city of
No,
where Chelsea is.
Manchester.
What is it? What do they play? Golly, Stafford Bridge.
Yeah.
They probably just like, oh, I like the logo or I like this player, and they probably just latch onto it. Like, there's probably a lot of like Buffalo Bills fans over there or something.
Bills, yeah, Buccaneers, Chiefs.
Yeah, It's an interesting concept, but let's get into the details.
The game.
The deets, man. For the Vikings, Kirk Cousins, man. Second cousin. 25 of 38, 273 yards, a touchdown, and a pick. Oh. About status quo for Kirky boy. Dalvin Cook, 20 carries, 76 yards. Justin Jefferson had a rushing touchdown. As far as receiving goes, Justin Jefferson, 13 targets, 10 receptions, 147 yards. Yeah, looks like he got back on track real quick. Adam Thielen, 9 targets, 8 receptions, 72 yards. Irvy boy had 3 catches, 23 yards, and Madison provided a touchdown receiving. I guess it's I don't know why people are freaking out about it's just overreactions with Justin Jefferson, trading him away, like, oh, he had 2 bad weeks in a row. It's never good to panic and get rid of one of the best players in the league because he does this just like you expect him to. However, I did not know he had a rushing touchdown. I think that's pretty cool there. But you look up and down this stat sheet, and it's just the Vikings, man. It's just what we come to know about the Vikings, you know?
Yeah.
There's no news. There's nothing that's gonna like slap your head or like shave your hair, you know?
Yeah, and it's Kirk Cousins didn't have a great game. I mean, he showed up big on the final drives, but he kind of struggled at times. There's a lot of drops in the receiving core, a few drops out there. But, I mean, at the end of the day, they pulled out a big win. Very interesting game towards the end. The kicks. Will Lutz hit a big 60-yarder, and then he couldn't come in at the double doink at the end of the game, and they lost. But very exciting ending to this London game. It was good.
The score was the Vikings 28, the New Orleans Saints 25.
Are we close to a Dalvin Cook breakout game yet?
Yeah, of course. It's going to happen any moment.
Is it next week at Chicago?
I would put a lot of money on that, buddy.
Okay.
Whenever you said Kirk Cousins came to the game big or something, what'd you say?
What? I said
like,
something like that?
Yeah, you said like he showed up to the game big.
Oh.
But you kept going and elaborating, and it had nothing to do with his actual weight. I was like picturing him like he gained 20 pounds since he came to London.
He's not really a big guy.
No, that's
honestly.
why I was like that's why I started chuckling to myself, because I was like imagining him like gaining like 30 pounds in a matter of a week that they've been in London, like just eating.
He's been eating good out there.
Fish and chips and
the sausage rolls.
Is that a thing?
Shout out to UK. They'll know what I'm talking about.
All I know is that their McDonald's are like a lot better than ours. You can get like, alcoholic beverages. You can get like shrimp and tofu. You can get like, I don't know. You can like order a lot of stuff, and I think it's more quality than here. And you can get the Royale with cheese.
I ain't touching no McDonald's.
Why not?
See, that stuff is basically like drinking boiling acid.
I've come, as I've gotten older, I've realized what McDonald's does to my innards.
Yeah.
And it ain't pretty, let me tell you that much, ladies and gents.
Yeah, because they're making it with like...
They're making it with like pig oil.
Pig oil and cloth and stuff.
Cloth?
Yeah.
And the pink sludge, I'll never forget that.
Yeah, those McNuggets aren't nuggets, it's like chicken.
Sludge Slasco.
It's like jellyfish meat or something.
Alright, let's go to the jellyfish don't have... Yeah, something like that. Some made up thing. I don't think jellyfish have meat, mate.
I wouldn't doubt it either.
I'm starting to turn into an Englishman. The Saints. Andy Dalton got the start, man. The Red Rifle, man. The Red Rocket, whatever you prefer. He went... let me get my bifocals on. 20 and 28. 236 yards and a touchdown. Flashback to the 80s. Latavius Murray, 11 carries, 57 yards and a tut. Mark Ingram, 10 carries, 30 yards. Tyson Hill, 5 carries, 21 yards and a touchdown. As receiving goes, Chris Olave got off the schneid. First NFL touchdown. Can we get a round of applause, Luke?
Mm-hmm.
He had 7 targets, 4 catches, 67 yards, and a touchdown. Marquise Callaway, haven't heard that name in a bit. 6 targets, 3 catches, 53 yards. Troutman got on there. He stinks. It was just kind of, I guess it was a good game. Went down to the wire, as Luke said, the double doink. With Alvin Kamara out, I guess they brought in Latavius on short notice, and man, he averaged 5 yards a carry, man, right off the streets.
Yeah, I think it was important for them to. They outgained Minnesota on the ground with Murray and Ingram and even Taysom Hill getting some carries. I think Andy Dalton did a good job filling in for Jameis Winston. I know he had a costly fumble that ultimately decided the game when Minnesota recovered it, kicked a field goal. But other than that, I mean, what, 20 for 28, 236, almost 12 yards attempt, a touchdown. I mean, what more could you have asked for replacing Jameis Winston? Would they win this game with Jameis Winston?
No.
You think it's the same
I
result?
think Andy Dalton's better.
Really? You actually believe that?
I believe that. I think that the Saints are a better team with Andy Dalton.
Wow. Wow. Interesting.
Is that bold, or do you not agree?
I don't know if it's bold, but I don't know if I disagree. It's just the fact that like Jameis is their starting quarterback. If he's healthy, he plays. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean,
So it's
I
kind
know
of
that
bold.
that he's their guy. I just think Andy Dalton's a better quarterback, and I think if Alvin Kamara was to play, Andy Dalton would dump it off to him a lot. I think that he's just a more cerebral game manager, whereas
Smarter.
yeah, Jameis is more of like probably more talented and arm strength and stuff like that, big play. But as far as managing the game, he hasn't been that great,
Yeah. I think it's nice seeing Chris Olave being the leading receiver, getting his first touchdown. He had a big play on that final drive to set up that double doink field goal, that 32-yard catch. And he's just special, man. Chris
I love
Olave
him.
is a great player. I'm not going to lie. He's going to be really good.
Yeah, I like him. What do you what are your thoughts on like the two injured stars of the team, Alvin Kamara and Michael Thomas, going forward in fantasy?
Like in terms of being
Like,
healthy.
is it a buy low for Kamara or sell? Or
I don't know, man.
the situation's kind of murky, and
It's hard to say like buy or sell him because like he's such a good player and such a high profile guy that it's like if I sell him, like I'm gonna want like a first or second round type guy. Because if you sell a Kamara and he ends up having a great second half, you just gave this team an RB1. Whenever you could have just just hold him, I think is the right thing to do. But I don't see if I'm looking to go out and acquire Alvin Kamara, I'm not sure if I feel safe like giving up, a Saquon or a Swift or
what
someone
about
like
a
that.
Derrick Henry for Alvin Kamara?
See, like that, like would I feel good about knowing, like I know what I'm gonna get out of Derrick Henry. He's gonna be healthy. He's gonna play. He's gonna score. But like with Kamara, like the upside is probably there. But what we've seen so far is like, am I gonna give up Derrick Henry for?
Is that troubling to you, what we've seen so far from Kamara?
Yeah, absolutely.
But what is, like, on a scale from 1 to 10, how worried? Troubling.
I wouldn't say 8, but it's like 6 or 7.
Yeah, my meter's starting to go up very quickly.
Because like not only is he dealing with like a rib injury, but like the games that he's played, he hasn't put up big numbers. Last week he saw 7 targets, but only caught like 3 of them.
His first run of the game was like 25 yards, and I was thinking to myself, here we go, we're about to have an Alvin Kamara game. And after that, it was, I don't know if it's the flow of the offense or what, but
I don't think their offense is very good.
I don't think the Saints are very good. I mean, they're like an average team,
I mean, right now, yeah, they're the 4th. The Eagles have their first round pick next year.
Thank you. What about Michael Thomas?
Yeah. I mean, obviously it's the injury history with him, but when he's on the field, shoot, I mean, he's good. Even the first week that he played, week 1 against Atlanta, it was like, man, we don't have any idea what we got out of Mike Thomas coming back from injury, hasn't played in 2 years. And he comes out, he scores 2 touchdowns. He looks like a freak. He looks like Michael Thomas. So it's like if he's on the field and he's out there playing,
What's his injury?
like yeah, he's a top guy in the league.
What is his injury?
I think his toe or his foot or something.
Well, it just seems like kind of a headache to have Michael Thomas, but like you said, he's talented, and we saw it week 1. So
Buy low window is closed on Chris Olave.
I love that guy, man. Let's move on to the next games.
Please.
Ooh, interesting. The Cleveland Browns and the Atlanta Falcons. The Falcons come out victorious, 23-20. Let's look at this. Not the prettiest game, but a good game to say the least. It came down to the wire. Jacoby Brissett, 21-35, 234 yards and a pick. The pick was, on the last drive of the game. They were marching. Threw a bad pass, man. I ain't gonna lie to you. Nick Chubb continues to rumble. 19 carries, 118 yards, a touchdown. Kareem Hunt, 10 carries, 49 yards. Jacoby got in on the ground. That run was actually very nimble of him. He made some people miss, skirted this way, skirted that way, illegal U-turn, end zone. Receiving, Njoku, man, he's looking like a favorite target up in there. 7 targets, 5 receptions, 73 yards. Good to see Donovan Peoples-Jones. 9 targets, 5 catches, 71 yards. David Bell, 2 catches, 35. Amari Cooper. Am I going to say it? Pooper Scooper. 4 targets, 1 catch, 9 yards. It's a lot of the same old. Brissett was coming off a really good game. He didn't have that great of a game. It's weird to see that Amari Cooper, only 4 targets, only 1 catch after, being great the last 2 weeks. I guess that's what you expect with a backup quarterback. Not really sure, but it's good to see Donovan Peoples-Jones, get into the action, and Nick Chubb to continue to roll, man.
Yeah, I think the Browns are the better team in this matchup. Comparing the two teams, Cleveland was down Myles Garrett in this one, along with Jadeveon Clowney.
Did Denzel Ward play?
Yes, he had an interception.
Ski!
But the Browns basically gave this game away. They had more yards, more offense efficiency. Tie game. They passed up a field goal on 4th and goal. Njoku lost a big fumble. Jacoby Brissett threw a bad pick at the end of the game. Just a lot of blown opportunities in this one for Cleveland. You just got to be better. You just got to be better, man, against Atlanta. Atlanta's 2-2 right now, man. Who would have thought? But Nick Chubb, same old guy. I think he's number 2 in PPR scoring without catching the ball very often. So, he's really that guy. There's no other way around that. He's one of the better guys. Amari Cooper got that A.J. Terrell treatment. That's what it was, man. He got stuffed.
Is he that good?
He's a darn good cornerback, man. I'm going to give him kudos because he's good.
Props, man. A.J. Terrell, man.
And they have Casey Hayward, too. Their 2 corners are pretty solid in Atlanta. Like in years past, we hadn't really said that before.
With Falcons?
David Njoku was the late round tight end that you guys wanted in fantasy this year.
Yeah, it took a while for him to warm up, but he looks like he looks like to be the favorite guy there.
He's the one this year. And,
like a security blanket.
He's gonna keep it going, and then they get Deshaun Watson back. So
he even had a rushing attempt
for
point negative. I don't know how to do metrics, man.
-6.
Let's go to the Falcons, man.
Sure.
Marcus Mariota, tick, tick, tick. The time's ticking away on this guy, man.
You think so?
I think we're on the countdown to Desmond Ridder.
You think he's here?
Let me tell you why. Let me read these stats to you. 7 of 19, 139 yards, and a pick. Unacceptable. And let me read you another thing. Kyle Pitts, 4 targets, 1 catch, 25 yards. They need a quarterback that's going to take risks, breathe some life into this receiving core, man. It's just been hard to watch, hard to muster for Kyle Pitts. When you have a guy like that out there, man, you got to throw him the dang ball. But aside from that, the rushing attack looked pretty strong. Tyler Algier, the rookie, 10 carries, 84 yards. Huntley came in. Don't really know his story, but he seemed to do pretty well. 10 carries, 56 yards, and a touchdown. Cordero, 9 carries, 38 yards, and a touchdown. Receiving, their leading receiver was, can you say his name? Zacchaeus?
Olamide Zaccheaus.
Olamide?
Yeah,
Zacchaeus?
right.
2 receptions, 55 yards. There's Algier had a catch for 20. Oh, how could I forget? Drake London, 7 targets, 2 catches, 17 yards. To me, it's time to make the change, Luke.
You do it right now.
I'd give him one more half.
But here's my issue, man. Obviously, this win wasn't on Mariota. He doesn't deserve any credit. But they're 2-2. The Falcons. They've won 2 games in 4 games.
That's a good point.
And that's crazy. I mean, they've done it all through the ground. But, like, I guess, I mean, they're going to have to lose more games for them to turn the page, I think.
Is their offensive line really good at run blocking?
I guess so.
That's interesting.
I never really thought about them being a good unit, but I mean, all the running backs were over 4 yards a carry. Algier had some big runs. Huntley. I mean, 3 different guys. Even Anais Williams or whatever had a carry for 21 yards. So, and they were able to run it down Cleveland, man.
Do you have any more on that? Oh, Cordero was put on IR.
Does that mean anything?
What does it mean to me?
Yeah.
I think it's a good time to take a shot on the rookie Algier. I think his usage has been going up each week, and then with this injury, I think he'll have first stab at being the starting running back until Cordero comes back. I don't know what's going on with Damian Williams. He might be back in the fold, but he gets the first shot at showing what he can do. Maybe he's the franchise guy, man, and Cordero can go back to wide receiver. Because God knows they need help.
They've got London and Pitts.
That's it.
That's more than enough.
That's more than not enough.
Yeah, it is.
Mm-mm.
Mm-hmm.
No.
It's good enough for me, man. I throw it at them a lot.
All right, let's go to the next games.
This is a good one.
Which one? You don't know which one I'm going to.
True.
I'm jumping around like a kangaroo jack.
Oh, okay.
The Tennessee Titans and the Indianapolis Colts.
Oh, this is your favorite team.
Oh, Lord. This one's going to take a lot to get through. The Tennessee Titans won 24-17. Well, looky there. Ryan Tannehill. 17-21, 137 yards, and a touchdown.
2 touchdowns.
Oh, 2 touchdowns. I'm sorry.
It's not
Derrick
bad.
Henry, 22 carries, 114 yards, and a touchdown. Golly, I don't know who the wide receiver is. Okongwu?
Tight end.
What?
Tight end.
How do you pronounce his name?
Okonkwo? Chig?
Is he related to Okongwu?
No.
Okay. 3 catches, 38 yards, and a touchdown. Derek Lamar Henry, 5 targets, 3 catches, 33 yards. Hey, Bobbert Woods. 4 targets, 4 catches, 30 yards, and a touchdown. I got bad news for you, Luke. Treylon Burke hurt. Foot injury. Foot injury. He might be out for a few weeks. Not really sure what's going on. PU. This stinks.
What?
Go on. What do you got to say about him?
I think it's interesting that Derrick Henry's starting to catch a lot of passes this year.
Yeah, I do too. I've noticed that. He's had 5 targets in every game or something.
Yeah.
I think he's actually catching them now.
He's got weak hands, though. You can just tell by the way he catches it. He's not a strong suit.
He runs like he's got a hitch in his step.
Nah, no.
He runs like he has arthritis throughout his lower
Derrick
body.
Henry is good. There's no other way around it.
Derrick Henry runs like he has peg legs.
Derrick Henry is literally their offense, and every single person on the field knows it. And he still rushes for 100 yards against a good run defense.
You still think Ryan Tannehill's a Heisman Trophy winner?
I never said that neither. But he's 17 to 21. 2 touchdowns.
He's a game manager, man. He stinks.
Yeah, I mean, but he doesn't have anyone impressive out there. Who's he throwing at? Okongwu?
There's a lot of things I'd rather do than watch this game.
Why, man? 2 of the best running backs in the gang.
I'd rather watch, what's a good sport?
Tennis?
Cornhole championship.
Dart throwing?
Competitive tag.
Pickleball?
Pickleball, Olympic. The wheelchair race. A lot of things. That's how...
Ballards?
Pillards. That's how uninterested and disgusting. When I see this matchup on paper, I literally just, sigh to myself and say, "Here we go again, boys."
You don't feel that way about the Colts?
They don't do nothing for me. It's like, okay, this is what it's like. It's like, whenever I eat cereal, I want something Fruit Loops or something with a little bit of flavor. But it's like you get a pack that's supposed to be flavorful, and it's bland.
Cheerios?
No, I like Cheerios.
But they're bland.
Let's say you get Cheerios, but on accident, you got the generic brand. For some reason, someone switched it out on you, so you're expecting a nice bowl of Cheerios. Actually, I can't even compare that because I'm not expecting a nice bowl of Cheerios. I'm expecting poop. Alright? Luke, I'm expecting poop when I see this matchup, and it's poop when I get to the game. So what do you want me to do about it, dude?
I don't know what you should do about it. To be honest.
Do you think it's a mental block I have?
Yeah.
Do you think I should seek help?
No, I just think it's your preference. What you prefer and what you don't prefer.
Okay, let me give you a scenario. You see all the matchups that happened in week 4, and you see is this a game that you would put at the bottom?
I think Cleveland and Atlanta would have been up there as well.
I have people I want to see.
I think the Giants and the Bears, I probably wouldn't care about.
I like to watch Saquonk.
And to be honest, man, the Cowboys and Commanders, I wouldn't want to watch that game.
Okay. And
last but not least, the Packers and Patriots, for gosh darn, they put it on Houston Television Network instead of some of these other games.
It went to OT.
It ended up being a good game, but both those teams are horribly boring to watch. I don't care.
I guess that's how I feel about the Titans and the Colts. And if you're Titans and Colts fans, please forgive me. The Titans will be one of my favorite teams when they put Malik Willis in, and the Colts will be one of my favorite teams.
Never.
I don't know. I never liked the Colts because of the traumatic experiences from the past. But let's go to the Colts right now, shall we?
Yeah.
Stop being a Debbie Downer about this game, Luke.
It's about to be. Looking at Matt Ryan's stat line, you think he had a good game, but they were horrible. They were bad.
Dang, I was not expecting this at all. 27-37, 356 big ones. 2 touchdowns and a pick. John Taylor, 20 carries, 42 yards, and a
What is that?
That's his worst game as a professional and injury, I believe.
What is that, dude?
I'll tell you, he's got a bad foot, ankle, whatever you want to call it.
But even before that,
he's hurt.
Not before it, he wasn't.
Yeah, he was hurt.
I'm not happy about him.
Mo Alley Cox, man. 6 targets, 6 receptions, 85 yards, and 2 touchdowns.
The big fella.
That's going to be his career game. Whoa, the rookie. Young man, look at my life. I'm a lot like you were.
He had a
Alec
good
Pierce, 6 targets, 4 catches, 80 yards.
He had a good catch. Really good one. Sideline.
And he spread the wealth. Paris Campbell got in there. 4 catches, 43 yards. Granson, 4 catches, 62 yards. Wait, where's that man? Oh, there he is. 6 targets, 3 catches, and 31 yards from Michael Pittman. I think he had 2 end zone catches that were out of bounds. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I'm not sure. All I know is that their offensive line is horrible. He can't get any help, man. Matt Ryan and Jonathan Taylor can't do nothing about it, man. Matt Ryan got strip sack, big one.
I think the AFC South is like haunted.
What's happening around there?
I just want to say that because it's spooky season, it's October, and I think there's some kind of weird juju in AFC South.
You like spooky season?
This is the first year I'm really embracing, fall, Halloween. I'm getting into the spirit, carving pumpkins, painting on pumpkins, really enjoying pumpkin spice. I think it's time for me to really appreciate these times of year.
Have you ever eaten an actual pumpkin?
The ones you carve?
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie, when everyone was looking away, I took a little nibble on it.
Was it good, or how did you feel about it?
It tasted like I would expect it to taste. Real organic and, pungent.
Would you try it again?
I would not.
Could I pay you to eat one?
What are we looking at?
What's the number you're looking
Are you
for?
like a whole pumpkin?
Or like a big piece, yeah.
Are you gonna...
Like a 3x3?
That's a big pumpkin. It's a huge pumpkin. 3 feet by 3 feet?
No, like a piece of a pumpkin, 3-inch by 3-inch.
Oh.
Like a square.
With the innards?
Or just whatever's hanging on to it.
I'm confused. When you eat a pumpkin, you're talking about the crust or the innards?
Like you carve out a 3x3 square.
Okay, so the shell.
Yeah, like the whole whatever. And you just eat that piece.
I mean, I would do it for the right price.
What, like $50?
Yeah, I would do it for $50. It can't be. I mean, you can eat pumpkin.
Would you do it for $30?
That's not bad.
All right. We have to take this up after here.
Yeah. I'm not afraid. I'll eat pumpkin seed. I'll eat pumpkin pie. I'll eat anything pumpkin.
You're a big pumpkin fan, huh?
Yeah, it warms my innards. It warms my heart. It warms my soul.
If you were very skilled at carving pumpkins, what would be the one image that you would like to carve onto a pumpkin? Could be any image.
Oh, that's a very good question. I would like to... Does it have to be Halloween themed, or
It could be whatever you like.
Huh, that's a very good question. It'd probably be the inner workings of a cell.
A human cell or
Animal
cell?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Very detailed. It would be like mind blowing, and I wouldn't fully imagine seeing that at night with the candle in the pumpkin. I think the reason I would do that is because people would stop and be like, "Dang, he just carved out a cell."
I don't think you'd be able to tell it's a cell. I think you would be like, dang, that's a really good carving. But
Actually,
at the same time, you'd probably be disturbed. Like, dude, what is that?
I actually take that back. I would do the continents, but with the elevation, showing the elevations. Like the Himalayas, the Andes, the Rocky Mountains. Like it would show that it's higher, 3D. Like I would carve into the pumpkin, and where the mountain ranges are, I would leave it higher.
The
So
topographic?
I'd shave it.
Topographic on it?
Yeah, wow. You drink Topo Chico too?
I'll try it if you let me.
Alright, man, dude, we're getting somewhere now. Do you think that would be cool though?
Yeah, that would be super cool. Like the Himalayas.
Yeah, they'd be like real big, and then like Mount Everest would be even higher, or like Mount Kilimanjaro.
Mm-hmm.
Like just in like the water would be soothed.
Where's the water? At the bottom?
No, the water. Like, I guess there wouldn't be water. It'd just be the pumpkin. You're right.
Yeah, no water.
What would you carve if you were able to carve something?
Probably a very detailed, I guess like a very detailed image of Mark Davis.
The Raiders owner?
Yeah.
I was expecting something more animalistic from you.
Well, you got to think about it. You're gonna look at that image and think it's Chucky.
Yeah, yeah.
And be like,
But
dang, that's a great thing of Chucky. Like, no, that's actually the owner of the Raiders.
I like that. It's makes people think probably, and they probably go look at a picture, and then that's when spooky season starts for them because they'd see that and be like, that's a real human.
Yeah, exactly.
And he gets his haircut like I don't know how he looks in the mirror, like, and thinks that looks good.
Hey, he's not a very good-looking guy. But
But
on the
he's-
other hand, I would have one on the other side of my doorway. Now you have one on this side and one on the other.
Oh, like your walkway to your
Yeah,
house?
yeah, you got them on both sides.
Yeah.
It would probably be like the body of a giraffe,
Yeah, I like where this is going.
but on it's got the giraffe neck, but then it's got like a bear or like a grizzly mountain on the top.
What's the body? Is it a giraffe body or just the giraffe neck?
Just a giraffe neck.
What's the body? A dolphin?
Yeah, or like a fish, like a tuna.
I'm not gonna lie to you, dude. I'm picturing that in my head, and I am very uncomfortable.
Like a tuna fish with the big swordfish thing on the top.
Yeah, I'm very, very uncomfortable with that image in my head.
You ever heard of a sea bear?
Yeah, from SpongeBob.
Yeah.
You know how to get away from them.
Yeah, you gotta draw a circle.
Yeah. I wish we had a transition to the Bears game.
We have a transition to...
You can take the next game. You can pick, and we can you can read this.
Are we concerned about Michael Pittman? Are we concerned about this offense?
I am not concerned about Michael Pittman. I am not buying into Mo Alley Cox. A little worried about Jonathan Taylor.
Are
just
you?
'cause high ankle sprains are hard, but
That's a lost year for Jonathan Taylor.
No. I won't.
If it's a high ankle sprain, it is. I guarantee it.
He's not normal. He's never missed a practice before high school.
He missed the last 2 days, but you're right. He was saying like he could
Play Thursday.
He could play Thursday, which is absolutely nuts. But I don't know, man. High ankle sprains are costly.
I mean, I don't think he's going to be... He'd definitely temper your expectations because of that high ankle sprain, but...
That's the closest thing to a broken ankle is a high ankle sprain.
What about a severed leg?
That could be close to it, man.
That's what I'm thinking.
But I tell you what, you put on an ambidextrous leg or what is it called? Artificial prosthetic. It'd be just fine.
Have you ever heard of the phenomenon phantom limb?
Never.
So it's like people that lost a limb in, like, let's say battle or in shark attack. They go through a process where they don't have the limb anymore, but they still feel like they do because their nerves are still shooting like there is something there. So they'll like fall over because they're trying to step on that leg that ain't there no more. Isn't that weird?
Dang, that's like a nightmare.
Yeah, I just thought that was interesting.
But like in real life, dude, that's nuts.
But I think over time you get used to like not having.
Yeah,
a
you
leg.
keep falling on your head, you're gonna
Yeah.
stop doing it probably.
I mean, you're either gonna keep falling on your head or start going into a cartwheel.
That's true. You can always bounce back and rebound from it.
Hey man, we're optimistic on the Forget What You Heard podcast, sponsored by nobody.
It's all about adaptation at the end of the day.
It's all about adapting. You're right. It's about, perspective as well.
Yeah,
Like-
absolutely.
Like if you lose your leg, you could be real sad, or you could make it into a place of victory.
That's true. That's a very optimistic way to look at it.
All right, man. What game are we on?
Jacksonville and Eagles.
Ooh, here we go again.
If you have one Jacksonville versus 10 Eagles, who's winning?
Is it a balding eagle
Yeah, it's one of them American ones.
against one jaguar?
Against one Jaguar. 2 Jaguars. But they cannot co-conspire.
Yeah, I think the Eagles would eventually win, but it would be a slow, torturous battle.
They just keep scraping on them and flying
And
away.
flying, I mean, there's not much the Jaguar can do unless he gets in a tree and sabotages 4 at a time.
They might be able to get a hold of a few of them.
Yeah, but I think over time the Eagles would win. All right, let's get back. Let's get. That was a good question, by the way.
No problem. Thank you.
The Eagles remain undefeated, 29-21 over the Jacksonville Jaguars. Let's get into the numerical values of these stats.
Roman numerals.
Ooh, VI 6. Is that right?
Yes.
Trevor Lawrence, 11-23, 174 yards, 2 touchdowns, a pick. How many fumbles did he? 4 fumbles lost.
They ate his lunch,
Goodness
dog.
gracious, man.
Sell high.
It was rainy though.
It was horrible. Yeah.
He looked like a. He looked very vulnerable with his hair wet.
Yeah, and he's not Peyton Manning.
Yet. Travis Etienne, 8 carries, 32 yards.
That stinks.
James Robinson, 8 carries, 29 yards. Why are we in a closet, man? Christian Kirk, 9 targets, 2 catches, 60 yards. Jamal Agnew, 6 targets, 4 catches, 50 yards, 2 touchdowns. Ain't much riding home on this one.
Yeah, I mean, he couldn't connect with Christian Kirk all day until like the last couple drives.
Is it because of big play Slay?
I think just Trevor Lawrence wasn't Trevor Lawrence. He kind of, like you said, very vulnerable in this game. A lot of pressure. Didn't really have time to think. Didn't have time to think about his thoughts. Didn't have time to pick his nose. Just a lot of different things, man. Just not enough time for him to get through his progressions. Which, I mean, credit to the Eagles' defense. But, I mean, Jamal Agnew, 2 touchdowns. He had some big plays.
Waiver wire.
He was causing some issues for that Eagles defense. It's nice to see Etienne split that work with James Robinson, both getting 8 carries. Let's get him back, getting used. But other than that, not much to write about.
I knew this was going to happen for James Robinson.
What's that?
I wasn't on that hype train, dude. I think more games than not, I don't think he's going to take the league by storm.
How can you say that he's been performing for 2 years now?
I just don't think it's sustainable. I think he was coming back with a vengeance, and the vengeance is gone.
Nah, dude, he's been very well so far this year.
What about Travis Etienne?
He fumbled, and they took him out. Etienne got more work.
Travis Etienne, is he a drop?
No, you got to hold him.
I want to say this, too. The score was 29-21, and the Jaguars turned the ball over many times. 5 times? 6 times?
6 times.
And it was a 1-score game.
Yeah, that's true. Their defense has been really good.
Yeah, I think that's what I was getting to. It's a testament to their defense. Jalen Hurts struggled, you know. Miles Sanders had a good... let's get into that, man. Let's just... Jalen Hurts, 16-25, 204 yards, and an interception. Miles Sanders, 27 carries, 134 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Jalen Hurts, 16 carries, 38 yards, a touchdown. Kenny Gainwell, found pay dirt. A.J. Brown, 7 targets, 5 receptions, 95 yards. Dallas Goedert, 6 targets, 5 catches, 72 yards. Devontae Smith, 4 targets, 3 catches, 17 yards.
Yeah, I mean, the Eagles have blown the Jim Morrisons off of every opponent this year. So it's, like you said, getting Jacksonville wasn't their fiercest opponent, but the Eagles came up for the challenge, man. Both these teams have been playing well. Jalen Hurts, the stat line doesn't look great passing, sloppy conditions, but he had Dallas Goedert dropped a touchdown pass, would have been a for sure touchdown. He had a touchdown called back on an offensive pass interference. So it's that. I mean, the stat line doesn't look great, but it's 2 passing touchdowns get called back. It looks a little different. But with that being said, Jacksonville's pass rush has been really good. Josh Allen and Travon Walker have been getting after it. Josh Allen especially has been looking good in this game. Miles Sanders is the culprit in this one. He 27 carries, 134 yards, 2 touchdowns. So yes, their defense has been good, but they've been a little vulnerable on the ground.
Yeah.
And the pick six on the first drive was a tip pass. Jacksonville took it to the house. That's not going to happen very often.
If you free small brain, you free your life.
We'll have to see how Jacksonville rebounds from this. But
Miles Sanders keeps on sandering.
what do you say?
He keeps on doing his thing. It's good to see him get 27 touches too, man.
Make that 29.
What happened? You got 2 catches on him.
Yes, sir.
Oh man.
Are the Eagles the favorite? Are they the number one in the power rankings?
Not in my conclusions.
Who do you have up there?
In my algorithm, I have the Bills.
Ooh. Come on, man. They can barely squeeze.
Eagles ain't played no one good.
They hadn't?
Who they played?
Detroit?
Stink.
Jacksonville?
Pretty good.
Washington?
Bad.
Minnesota?
Ooh, average. I'm gonna wait till they get to the big boy games.
They don't play any big boys this year.
Well, that's not my problem.
Steelers, Texans, Washington, Colts, Packers, Titans, Giants, Bears, Cowboys, Saints, Giants. Pretty easy, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's gonna be trouble when they play one of the big boys.
17-0.
Oh no, he didn't.
All right, let's get going.
What do you got on me?
Bears, Giants.
Ooh. You wanna take over the stat quote?
Giants win 20-12. Justin Fields 11 for 22, 174 yards. He also added 52 rushing yards. Khalil Herbert got to start with the injured David Montgomery, 19 carries, 77 yards. Darnell Mooney, leading receiver, 4 catches, 94 yards. Cole Kmet, 3 catches, 16. Not too much offensively for Chicago. What do you have to say?
I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but the Bears stink.
Is that true?
I think the evidence is overwhelming that they stink. Justin Fields might not be good. There's not a lot to say. It's good to see Darnell Mooney finally get some schneid work and Cole Kmet get some Grizzly action.
Yeah, I guess for the Bears, I was expecting Khalil Herbert to kind of gash up the Giants' defense on the rushing ground. I thought he was going to get like 100, 120, 140 yards rushing, but he wasn't able to eclipse the century mark. But he still had a solid game, man. He's a good player. It is good to see Mooney. He had a 56-yard catch. He led both teams in receiving. Justin Fields really hasn't looked very good. 6 sacks. But, yeah, not too much there. And for the Giants, Daniel Jones, 8 of 13, 71 yards. He got hurt. Tyrod Taylor comes in, one for 3, 11 yards and a pick. He also got hurt. Saquon Barkley was running a little bit of wildcat towards the end of the game. That's why we're looking at 31 carries, 146 yards rushing. Daniel Jones also added 2 touchdowns rushing. Daniel Bellinger led the team in receiving with 3 catches, 23 yards. Saquon had 2 catches for 16. And Darius Slayton caught one for 11. There wasn't much going offensively in this game, wasn't it?
Not really. I mean, Saquon had a fine day at the office. Daniel Jones showed off his athleticism. 6 carries, 68 yards. But as far as passing, he doesn't really have many options. But there's something crawling up down the grapevine. Odell visited the Giants.
What does that have to do with much?
Gives Daniel Jones someone to throw to.
Okay, yeah.
Are you intrigued by that move?
For what? For fantasy or how we playing?
Both ways.
Not really.
Where's Kadarius Toney?
Injured.
Dude, does he have fibromyalgia?
Whatever that is.
Does he have osteoporosis?
He might have it.
Hey, silly street.
He might have it, dude. I don't
Dude,
know.
he's on Slytherin time.
He might need to be on a different team.
He might need a little more than therapy.
Yeah, I don't think he cares about much.
I think he's more... What's his rapping name? The Joker?
Little Toby.
I think he needs to get his mind off the streets and put him in the field.
Needs to do something. He needs to get out there and play something.
Yeah, now that you mention it, this game wouldn't have been on my list either.
Not at all.
It would have been on... I would have blacklisted it.
Well, Saquon's obviously a guy you want to watch, but 31 carries. Give him more than 2 catches, would you?
Give him more than 31 carries and let him throw the ball, for God's sake.
31 carries is about right, but he needs to see, 6 to 8 catches.
I just want to see a game where, like, the team's down their quarterback, their backup quarterback, and they have a star running back, for example, Saquon, and he just starts throwing. Like, it looks like he starts doing wildcat for a couple plays, and then he puts up the ball and he's throwing that thing around the yard a little bit.
You ever heard of Ricky Williams and Ronnie Brown?
Yeah, but they didn't throw it.
Wasn't that cool, though, how they were, the first to, implement it?
Yeah, because whenever you see football players, throw the ball on the sideline, it's always a perfect spiral, and, they got good arm talent when they're throwing it before the game to the fans. I'm like, dang, I don't even know if I could get it up there, man.
It's a weird thing I noticed, too, is a lot of the non-quarterback players are left-handed.
What do you think that means?
They throw it with their left hand a lot.
Not Debo.
Yeah.
He does?
It's weird. A lot more people than you think throw it left-handed.
That's weird. I never noticed that.
Well, I did. I do. Throws me off a bit, would you?
Are you left-handed?
Left-headed?
Yeah, left brain.
Yeah.
You use that more than your right?
No. But I do use it. I like to get creative.
Give me an example.
Giving wet willies to animals. Only for science reasons, man, not for my pleasure.
I wouldn't consider that creative.
Who have you ever heard of doing that? No one's ever done it.
I think Dahmer.
Oh, Dahmer did?
And Bundy and Gacy.
Yeah, but they got pleasure out of it. I do it for scientific reasons.
What is the science behind it?
See if they have the same emotional reaction as a human would.
Fair enough, man. You check out. Doesn't sound like you're a psycho.
Insane in the brain.
I got poop in my membrane.
I'm just kidding. I don't do any of that.
He really doesn't. I can vouch for him.
But Dahmer, no correlation.
But he does wet the bed.
Tell you what, I'll do it on the floor. Find me in the corner of the room. All right, next up, Buffalo Bills and the Baltimore Ravens.
Ooh, this was a good one.
We expected it to be better.
Yeah, man, you missed a game.
Josh Allen, 19-36, 213 yards passing, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. Not his greatest. He also added 70 yards rushing and a touchdown.
Good.
Devin Singletary, 49 yards rushing. Stephon Diggs, 4 catches, 62 yards. Singletary, 4 catches, 47 yards. Dawson Knox, 3 catches, 40 yards. Jamison Crowder went down with an injury. Isaiah McKenzie left the game for a while. Khalil Shakir made an appearance, 2 catches for 23 yards. A little guy you got to look out for. Rookie out of Boise State playing that slot. He might make an appearance down the line. Gabriel Davis, 1 catch for 13 yards on 3 targets. Not a big showing for Buffalo's offense. They were able to pull this out 23-20 in a close game all the way down to the wire.
Yeah, it was a good game. It wasn't what we expected. I think we expected a higher scoring game and just fireworks left and right. It's weird to see that Gabe Davis is disappearing, but I think it has to do with his ankle. He might be some kind of decoy on him. Or maybe Isaiah McKenzie is better.
Oops.
But don't tell my dad.
I think a lot of it has to do with the injury to his ankle. He's definitely not 100%. I think he said that himself. But he's playing a lot of snaps, but he's playing the outside guy. It seems like Josh Allen likes to throw to the guys on the inside, with Shakur getting some work, McKenzie scoring a touchdown, even Singletary, but I think it's only a matter of time. Let's let Gabe get healthy, see what he's able to do.
Yeah, and good teams, win these close games in regular season. But it also has to do with the play call on 4th and goal instead of kicking the field goal and taking the points for the Ravens,
Yes.
But you live and die by those decisions as a head coach, and I respect that, you know what I mean?
Going over to the Ravens, Lamar Jackson, 20 for 29, 144 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 picks. He also had 73 yards rushing. Justice Hill, 8 carries, 45 yards. J.K. Dobbins.
Dobby.
He's back. 13 carries, 41 yards, and a touchdown. He also added 4 catches, 22 yards, and a touchdown. Devin Duvernay led the team with 4 catches, 51 yards. Rashad Bateman, 3 for 17. Mark Andrews, disappearing act, 2 catches for 15 yards. It looks like the Ravens are getting back to the 2019 run-first approach. We're going to ground them. With J.K. Dobbins, much better back than those other guys, they're going to look to run the ball. Wait till they get Gus Edwards back, too.
It could be scary now that Lamar's better at quarterback and reading defenses. If they can get that ground and pound with the two-headed monster, and Lamar's increased his ability to throw the ball and read defenses, it could be a very scary offense. However, the defense did pretty well.
They held their own.
Why did Marcus Peters get so angry?
I don't know what happened there, but he was yelling at
him. He might have a few screws loose.
Yeah, but who knows, man? What if it was, deserved?
I think we ain't done yet.
What if John Harbaugh said, "Hey, we lost this game because of you. You stink, MP."
I said, ain't me.
You know what I mean? It could have been a lot of reasons. But I know Marcus Peters wanted the Bills to score a touchdown rather than hold them so that the Ravens would get the ball back, have a chance to come down and tie the game. But since the Bills ran the timeout, kicked the field goal, won, that could have been another reason. Maybe Harbaugh was like, "Stop him, get this stop. Let's get a field goal."
That's what they're supposed to do, though.
But then Peters was like, "Nah, it's stupid, man. We got to let them score so we get the ball, man."
But they would stop at the 1-yard line.
Who knows, man?
How do you let them score?
Pick them up, carry them in.
I would love to see that. Yeah, that would have been interesting. But yeah, it was a good game. We expect to see, these guys to be in the mix all the way through the season.
Me too. I think so too, man. That's gonna be a front runner, Lamar Jackson for MVP. Next up, Cowboys and the Washington Commanders.
Dude, I think we skipped a game.
Washington Commanders wore their black unis today, man. They look kind of sweet.
I did not see that.
But the one thing that I don't like is the lines above their last name on the back of their jersey.
I like that.
It's kind of hard to make out some of their last names. But I did like the jerseys, man.
It's not about the name on the back of the jersey. It's about the Manders, man.
It's about the man on the front.
Yeah. Redskin!
Hey, come on, we're not
I'm
playing
sorry,
that.
man. Hey, edit that out, man. Don't tell me.
What are you playing? Carson Wentz, 25 of 42, 170 yards throwing, 1 touchdown, 2 picks. Antonio Gibson, 13 carries, 49 yards. J.D. McKissick, 8 carries, 40 yards. Jahan Dotson led the team in receiving. He ended up leaving the game with the injury. He's going to miss about 2 weeks. He had 3 catches, 43 yards, and a touchdown. Curtis Samuel, 4 catches, 38. And the one and only Scary Terry, 2 catches for 15.
JD McKiss my butt.
Hey, come on, we're not playing.
B-Rob's about to be in the show. You guys better step out the way because he's bulletproof. I think I don't know what they're doing in Washington in terms of Antonio Gibson, but his usage has gone down every week. They gave JD a lot of carries. this week. What's going on? What are we expecting if Brian Robinson comes back into the fold?
Hear me out.
All right, I'm listening.
Antonio Gibson is on the trade block.
You hear that?
The first 4 weeks without B-Rob has been a showcase for Antonio Gibson. They're showcasing him. Any offer they get that they think is worth the price of Antonio Gibson, they're going to pull the trigger. And they're going to take him.
Who do you think's willing to?
There was a time when we thought Antonio Gibson was going to be a really good running back in this league. Washington was behind him, full force. Ron Rivera kept saying, yeah, we're going to add more to his plate. We're going to make this, McCaffrey level type thing. But towards the end of last year, the beginning of this year, we kept seeing him, kick returns, fumbles. He's not doing this. And to me, those are signs of, he's not progressing as becoming, better at running back. He's not doing the things he needs to do to become better. Rivera and co. aren't liking what they're seeing in terms of him becoming a better running back. So they're making him available. They have Brian Robinson. Obviously, they liked him. He was starting in preseason. And maybe they think, the NFL views Antonio Gibson as a really good, superstar, 3-down back. Someone will pay, a third-round pick for him. And we'll take it.
But if the trade doesn't go through and Brian Robinson's back, what happens?
It's going to be split.
50-50?
Probably, yeah, early on. Early on is probably Gibson, but once time goes on, they'll keep leaning towards Robinson. And then until they phase out Gibson or they trade him.
Do you think they can configure a good backfield?
In terms of how they rotate their backs?
Yeah.
I think a capable coach could, but I don't know if Ron Rivera is capable of doing that.
You don't think Riverboat Ron can manipulate the situation?
I don't think he's very good, honestly.
If you ever say that in front of me again, we're going to have a lot of issues in this room.
Well, ever since Carolina, he hadn't really done much. He's kind of an old school guy. If he doesn't have his good defense, there's nothing special for him. I don't know. I'm not a big fan.
Let's go to the Cowboys.
Cooper Rush, first quarterback in Cowboys history to go 4-0 in his first 4 starts.
Gold Rush.
They cruised against the Washington Commanders. That being said, Cooper Rush, stat line, 15 of 27, 223 yards, 2 touchdowns. Zeke Elliott, 19 carries, 49 yards. CeeDee Lamb, 6 catches, 97 yards, and a touchdown. Noah Brown, 3 catches, 61. Michael Gallup, first game back. Welcome back, baby.
Hey there.
2 catches, 24 yards, and a tutty.
Yo, where's TP in all this?
He had 8 carries, 6 yards, and he added 1 catch for 2 yards. Dalton Schultz, 3 targets, 0 catches.
All I can say is congratulations to Cooper Rush, and the Cowboys look like a pretty good team. What are they, 3-1? I just think maybe that maybe they figure some things out. They've calmed the seas over in Dallas, which is hard for me to say, but maybe they got, the winning formula. When Dak comes back, I think they stick him on that pine.
I think they keep Cooper Rush in if he keeps winning.
I say ride him until the wheels fall off.
I agree. 4-0.
Mileage.
If he wins this next game and Dak's able to come back, hey, Dak, you're going to have to sit this one out, son. Cooper Rush is out here Cooper Rushing.
You sounded like Jerry Jones.
Yeah, that's what I am, dude. I know for darn sure if Cooper Rush keeps winning, goes 5-0, he's going to play the game 6, even if Dak's healthy. I can guarantee it.
Until he stinks or loses a game?
Yeah, they're just going to keep saying, oh, Dak's rehabbing. Because think about it. If Cooper Rush stunk, if Cooper Rush was not 4-0, if Cooper Rush, lost these 2 games, and Dak was able to, they would be rushing to get Dak back. Dak, even if he's not 100%, Like,
Yeah,
oh,
because
Dak's going to be starting week 5. Cowboys are going on a downhill spiral. But now that Cooper Rush is winning, they're going to keep pushing like, oh, Dak's still rehabbing. He's not 100%.
because they're on cruise control. They're still in. They're one of the top records in the league.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Right. So we're going to keep rushing, Cooper.
Keep riding that CD train, boys.
Yeah, he likes throwing the CD.
He loves throwing the CD.
He might be better than Dak, dude. They might have to put Dak on the TB.
Let me ask you something. Does Cooper Rush have red hair?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that all you need to know?
That's all I need to know, man.
What does that tell you the most?
Straight facts, bro.
Because he has a red head?
Yeah.
Come on, man. That's genetics.
Hey, that's generic, man.
Chargers versus Texans.
Ooh, 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 ooh.
The final score is not the whole thing, man. 34-24 is a lot closer than what the game looked like.
I thought the Texans was going to pull this one out of their hat.
This was domination. They dominated, really, the Chargers. Justin Herbert, 27-39, 340 yards, 2 touchdowns. Austin Eckler made an appearance.
3-peat.
3-tutty game. He had 13 carries for 60 yards. He also added 6 catches for 49 yards. Mike Williams led the team in receiving with 7 catches, 120. Gerald Everett, 5 catches, 61 and a tutty. Josh Palmer, 1 catch, 25. What are you thinking about the Chargers?
I think it's the Chargers, dude. They fool us, man. We think they're back on track, man. They put up all these great stats. They looked really good. What are they going to do next week,
They might pull out the belt buckle on them.
Yeah, and then, they'll have a down week. But, I guess you can... The glass is always half full with Justin Herbert, and Austin Eckler. It's a shame that Keenan can't stay healthy, having that setback. But they have a lot of talented wide receivers, Mike Williams, Josh Palmer, even Gerald Everett putting in work on there. It's just, I can't really get much from this game. It was the Texans, and it's the Chargers. What do you want me to do, man?
And for the Texans, Davis Mills, 26-35, 246 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. Ooh, Dameon Pierce, the rookie sensation out of Florida. 14 carries, 131 yards, and a touchdown. That's almost 10 yards a pop.
He had a 75-yard banger, banger.
Leading receiver for the Texans was Nico the Narc Collins.
Hey, ain't no narc, man. I ain't heard him tell no one.
3 catches, 82 yards. Brandon Cooks, 7 catches, 57 yards, and a tutty. Rex Burkhead, 5 catches, 39 yards, and a tutty. What are we thinking, man? First sign of life for the Texans was that 75-yard touchdown run scamper by the young Dameon Pierce.
He's very talented. I love Dameon Pierce. So everyone that hopped on that train, man, his hype train, came real fast, and a lot of people got on. We did it. He's really starting to, show us on the field, and I love to see that, But that's about the brightest spot, that there's hope for the Texans. They have Dameon Pierce. Davis Mills, this is his last year as the starter. I also want to announce my pronouns.
The floor is yours.
That my pronouns are it, and what on God's green earth is that? Thank you.
Oh, man. Shoot.
Back to the game, the Texans, it's Dameon Pierce, Brandon Cooks. I get Nico had a good game, but like I said, man, we're at this point we're filtering sewage water.
What on God's green earth is that?
Yes. How may I help you?
Is Dameon Pierce a future stud running back? Is he going to be a workhorse dog for the next 4 years, like a guy who's going to get those 1,200 yard, get 10 touchdown seasons? He's the next, workhorse guy, Joe Mixon level guy. Is he, one of these?
Maybe.
Okay.
It's too early to tell. There's a lot of boxes he has to check. As of right now, he's checked one box. Take over the backfield. There's many more he has to take over. Check
Yeah.
boxes, but
I think he checked 2. I think he checked another one this week with
the
the
75
breakaway run. He did it.
That's not I guess so.
That's a box for me.
What are your pronouns? There it is.
I don't know. Get back to me on that.
All right, we'll keep thinking on it.
I have to think about mine out loud.
Now keep it in your head.
I'm thinking about one of them right now. All right, next up we have the Steelers and the Jets. The Steelers and the Jets, man. The Jets won. Who would have thought? 24-20.
Zach Wilson is a generational talent.
Before we get into the numbers, do the Steelers win this game if Kenny Pickett starts the game?
I think so.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, the Steelers are now 1-3. If they started Kenny Pickett from the get-go, are they better than 1-3?
2-2.
2-2?
Yeah.
Okay. So they made a mistake. Young Mike Tomlin made a mistake by starting Mitch Trubisky because they want to go ahead and start, he's got experience. They made a mistake. You got to start Kenny P from the get-go. How different is their season if they start Kenny Pickett? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, there's a footage of a side-by-side between Mitch Trubisky and Kenny Pickett, and it was like the same play. And Kenny Pickett literally gets crunched, but throws the ball to Pat Freiermuth down the seam on the goal line, almost gets a touchdown. Same play, same yard line, everything. Mitch Trubisky gets a little bit of pressure in his face, and he cowers and whimpers to the ground and cries. Difference. Stand up in that pocket, make the big throw, take the hit, ask questions later when your therapist asks you what's wrong with your head.
Yeah, I think the Steelers also become a much more exciting team with Kenny Pickett.
Dude, he was laying the ball out. George Pickens finally got going.
They were moving the chains.
Yeah, and he was like, he's not afraid to throw picks. He's like a gunslinger with a mullet.
That's true. He threw 3 interceptions, but if you take away those, he's 10 for 10 with 120 yards. You can't take away interceptions, but he threw some great balls to George Pickens. He threw a good ball to Pat Freiermuth. So, he can deal it for sure. It's just a matter of can he not throw picks.
I'm excited for the Steelers now.
I think I am too.
It's finally, something different. Mitch Trubisky stinks, man.
It's also exciting to see Pickens emerge too. He's a much better player than Claypool. They've got a lot of talented receivers. You know what I'm saying? So they could be much more exciting with a good quarterback.
Remember that video I showed you of what Chase Claypool looks like whenever he...
Oh, yeah.
It's like the Joker falling down the stairs, all out of control. Because every time he does catch the ball or attempt to catch the ball, he literally falls on the ground.
That's true.
And he's a huge man.
He hasn't been able to do anything with his opportunities this year.
It's because of his TikTok in his brain.
But let's talk about the Jets first. Actually, no, we'll do the Steelers. So Kenny Pickett, 10 of 13, 120 yards, 3 interceptions. Trubisky, no longer the starter, 7 of 13, 84 yards and a touchdown. Najee Harris, 18 carries, 74 yards. Kenny Pickett also ran for 2 touchdowns.
Let's not forget his legs.
George Pickens, leading receiver, 6 catches, 102 yards. Freiermuth, 7 catches, 85 yards. And Deontay, 2 catches, 11 yards. But he did score a touchdown that they called it not a touchdown. Because
Who threw it?
They say his foot was on the line, but it wasn't.
Who threw it? Pickett?
Nah, I don't know. I think it was Trubisky.
I think there's a connection between Pickens and Pickett.
I think so, too. They probably did a lot of work together in training camp.
Separation by a minimal molecule to get them on different trees, family trees.
We'll find out, man.
Because Kenny Pickett lives in a white picket fence, and George Pickens got it from the mud.
So I guess, this might not be the season for the Steelers, but it's at least exciting more exciting watching Pickett than it
Absolutely.
is.
Absolutely.
The defense needs to be better too.
Yeah, once they get TJ.
Get
Squad.
TJ back, and then go build up your
Man,
offensive line.
I think Minka has been. Did he play?
I don't know.
Man, he's laying on the law.
So the Jets, the winning team, man. Zach Wilson first game back.
Welcome.
18 to 36, not great. 252 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 picks. Braxton
Pretty
Berrios was 1 for 1, 2 touchdowns, and he threw a touchdown to the young Zach Wilson. Caught a touchdown. First Jets quarterback in NFL history.
No wide receiver gloves neither.
Brees Hall, leading rusher, 17 carries, 66 yards, and a touchdown. Michael Carter, 9 carries, 15 yards. Excuse me. Corey Davis led the team in receiving with 5 catches, 74 yards, and a touchdown. Elijah Moore, 3 catches, 53 yards. Garrett Wilson coming back down to earth with 2 catches, 41. And Tyler Conklin, 3 catches, 52 yards. What are your thoughts on the Jets and Zach Wilson's season appearance?
It didn't solidify anything for Zach Wilson as far as how good he's going to be. He still kind of isn't that great.
Hey, come on, man. They got the dub.
They got the W, but they switched quarterbacks in the middle of the game. It seemed like he started to warm up there towards the end, but, I'd say the jury's still out, man.
He had a lot of errant throws.
Yeah, he throws the ball real hard.
You got to get that touch, man. He's got a lot of touchless passes.
Yeah, but he's got that pretty boy swag.
Does he?
Yeah, pretty Flacco.
What would you say to him if you saw him in the club one night?
I'd say, hey, man, what's going on with your head?
Would you be friendly or what?
I'd say, can I buy you a drink?
I'm in love with the...
Nah, I'd probably say, I don't know, it depends on the situation. Am I happy? Am I angry? Am I irritable? Am I discontent?
Ooh, that's a lot of negative stuff.
You gotta ask what I am.
What are you out there?
In the club?
Yeah.
Probably irritable.
Yeah, that's
Don't
about
like being around all that.
90% of the time.
Yeah.
But what are you pulling out of this for the Jets? I mean, Brees
Hall's gonna be real good.
he took over that backfield tonight.
Wide receiver is a wait and see.
Man, Zach Wilson tends to favor Corey Davis, even last year.
Respect, man.
Is this a Corey Davis thing?
Hey, he's got my absolute honesty and respect for that.
Really?
Yeah.
You like Corey Davis?
I like Corey Davis.
You
man.
actually do?
I've always liked him since he was drafted real early out of, what is it, Western Michigan?
Yeah.
I love that, man. I love that story. And I respect it.
Would you be content with him as your number 1 receiver on your favorite team?
Probably not.
You
But,
don't like him that much, then?
I mean, like a young Corey Davis, yeah, he would have been my favorite player if he was on my favorite team.
But he was never really able to do it that well in Tennessee. His final year he did.
I mean, he's had a lot of injuries and stuff. And he has 2 first names.
Is Davis the first one?
Davis Mills.
Yeah, but that's
Got him looking at his shorts.
that's basically Girl Scout.
Yeah, man, I bought Boy Scout cookies the other day and they tasted like poop.
Finally, we move on to my favorite game of the week.
Yes.
The Seattle Seahawks versus the Detroit Lions.
You just like it because there's a lot of points.
But I came into this game thinking it was going to be high scoring. They about doubled.
They almost scored a honey.
They about doubled their over-under line for the game, total game points.
I mean, to be honest, I wouldn't know where to put the line for this game.
Dude, but it was 48 to 45, Seattle. Who would have thought? These are 2 of the worst teams.
Especially with Detroit not having DeAndre Swift,
Amon
Sun
Ra,
God,
DJ Chark.
DJ Chark. I don't know. What the heck's Jared Goff drinking on?
How does Seattle score 48 points?
Gino, man, he wrote and you ain't wrote it back.
Gino's good.
Yeah, he's got Twitter fingers on me.
If you look at all his passing metrics, he's really been.
Everyone keeps comparing him and Russell Wilson.
He's been really good.
I hate that.
Dude, but he's top 10 in every accuracy rating and all these.
Compare him to every quarterback in the league. He's still good. You don't have to go pick on Russell.
I don't know what you're watching, but I'm
watching the mainstream,
We
dude.
don't have to follow
ESPN,
that.
man.
But Geno Smith went 23 of 30, 320 yards and 2 touchdowns. That's pretty good.
I'm sorry for raising my voice.
He also added 49 yards rushing and a touchdown, which is good for you, Geno. Rashad Penny, 17 carries, 151 yards, 2 touchdowns. Kenneth Walker, 8 carries, 29 yards. And then the big plays, man. The receiving, 7 catches, 149 yards for the young DK Metcalf. Tyler Lockett, 6 catches, 91. Will Dissly, 4 catches, 39 yards and a touchdown. And Noah Fant scored a 2-yard touchdown.
I think the biggest story out of this game is the fact that DK had to get a stretcher, a ride to the locker room because he had to go number 2.
Would you take that same approach?
Heck, absolutely not.
Yeah, me too. I would have scampered.
I'm walking butt cheeks clenched if I have to.
Me too.
I am not getting escorted. I don't want anyone in the restroom with me. First of all, everyone's going to be on the field. I'm going to be taking a number 2 quietly. I don't want the trainers hovering outside the stall while I'm out there. I just want no one to know that I did it and no one to know what I did.
I mean, to be fair, I think a lot of people are going to notice you walking with your legs in front of your hips, clenching your cheeks, struggling to walk normally to the restroom. They can say, dude, this dude's got bowel movement.
No, I'll limp, so it looks like I have an injury.
Okay.
I'll be grabbing my hamstring while I'm clenching.
Like upper hamstring, so you can kind of like lift up your cheek at the same time.
Hold the poop in. Is that fair or is that weird?
That's a little weird.
It's all right, man. I'm not gonna take a cart. That's all I'm telling you.
I wouldn't take a card either, so we're on the same page there.
But I will say I'm happy for both teams. And they put on a heck of a show, and it's nice to see the underdogs or people that have been counted out in this league really show that they're like Jared Goff, Geno Smith, Rashard Penny, Jamal Williams.
Dude, obviously, I think to me the biggest thing was Rashad Penny in the second half. I mean, dude, he had
a 45-yard run, right?
He had 8 rushing yards in the first half.
How the heck did that happen?
Finished with 151, 2 touchdowns on 17 carries. The Lions had no answer. I mean, the
Lions don't have an answer for anyone.
He had a 40
defense.
He had a 41-yard touchdown run. He had a 50-yard touchdown run. But Dan Campbell made it interesting. He kept it in there together. I mean, when you hear the stat line for Penny, you're thinking, man, this team, probably run it up pretty good. But Dan Campbell's team don't quit. The Lions came back, drew it within 3. Dan Campbell even attempted an onside kick. They were close to recovering it. But this was just an offensive battle, man, really. I think it's I don't know if it's a testament to what they did on offense or are these defenses just putrid.
I think it has to do with the defenses. They stink. At some point, you have to think to yourself, do they want the other team to score so they can get the ball and try to score because the defense, it's like a game plan.
Yeah.
Hey, let's let them score. Their defense is bad too. We'll score right back. Maybe we can hold them to a field goal or something like that. But, I like these games. 2 bad teams, running up that scoreboard is nice to see. And, to see Jared Goff and Geno Smith, Rashard Penny, put up, Madden numbers. It's always fun to see. It's way better to watch that game than to watch Tennessee and the Colts.
Definitely. For the Lions, Jared Goff, 26 of 39, 378 yards, 4 touchdowns, and a pick. Jamal Williams, replacing DeAndre Swift, 19 carries, 108 yards, 2 touchdowns. He had a 51-yard scamper. The leading receiver. We talked about the big numbers passing. The leading receiver for Detroit was T.J. Hawkinson.
Oh yeah, I forgot about Hawk Dog.
8 catches, 179 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Wow. Josh Reynolds, 7 catches, 81 yards, and a touchdown. He was a big name coming into the week. That's the guy you got to start.
There's another Reynolds on the...
Craig Reynolds, the running back. He's not very good.
Someone started him.
Really?
Yeah.
Tom Kennedy, Amon-Ra's replacement, 3 catches, 54 yards. So, most of the damage was Hawkinson through the air, man. That was a guy we were kind of all off on coming into fantasy drafts and stuff. It's like Hawkinson, you kind of let him slip, you'll be fine. But with all the injuries, man, he stepped up and had a great game.
Yeah, that it was good to see, but like I said, it's probably a one-off for Hawkinson with all the injuries. I mean, unless they, I don't foresee this happening again.
You know what? I look at this game too, and I just like, dang, like what kind of numbers is Swift and Amon-Ra putting up if they're healthy in this game? Like they probably go nuclear.
For DJ Chark.
Cause like, dude, if Jamal Williams has a 51-yard touchdown on you, like one of the least explosive players in the league, like what is Swift gonna do?
Yeah, I think you need to put respect on his name.
I mean, he looked explosive on the run, but he's not. Like it's Jamal Williams.
He's a good running back.
I mean, he's good, but like he's
not Swift.
No, not even close.
I didn't want to say anything, but it looks like our producer decided to fall asleep. To the right.
Oh, Geralt?
Yeah, Geralt's hurt.
But yeah, I mean, that's really... What do you think about Detroit?
What do you mean?
What do you think about him? What is the first thought you think of when you hear Detroit?
Hard working.
You like Dan Campbell's?
Good leadership.
Okay.
Fighting spirit.
It's cool, too, how the offense has been very productive, and we haven't even seen Jameson Williams.
Oh, I forgot about him.
He's about to bust it open.
He's going to come back Thanksgiving Day, and we're all going to eat turkey watching that.
Do you think he's going to make an appearance
I think it was November.
From the get-go, though? Like, you think he's going to hit the ground running?
I'm skeptical, but, with Sun God, but he could.
Sun God?
That's Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Oh.
You haven't heard his nickname?
Oh, I just call him normal.
You better start using nicknames, Two-Head Tony.
I'll make my own.
So do I. What was it? Two-Head Teddy.
I'm going to do Amon-Ra in your head.
What about Amon? What about Saint Amon?
We'll move on to the Cardinals and the Panthers. Cardinals won this game 26-16. Kyler Murray 23 of 32, 207 yards, 2 touchdowns, a pick. James Conner, very not explosive, 15 carries, 55 yards. Kyler Murray also added a rushing touchdown. Hollywood Brown, 6 catches, 88 yards, and a touchdown. He's continuing to continue. Zach Ertz, 6 catches, 57 yards, and a touchdown. Other than that, not much. Greg Dortch didn't show an appearance in this game.
He had 1 catch for 6 yards.
Not too good for him.
I'm gonna say this right now. These are the 2 worst offenses in the NFL.
Why?
I don't know. Go look at the game script and then come back to me in a week.
Are they bad because of the quarterbacks?
They're bad because of the coaches.
Oh, okay.
And Baker might be real bad.
Is Baker actually bad?
He's the worst quarterback since Chris Winkie, I think. Start the first 4 weeks of the season, he stinks, dude. Like, he's so bad. Like, it's amazing that Christian McCaffrey has put up the numbers he's put up for how bad. Like, he should win MVP of the league just because.
Who?
Christian McCaffrey, just because he's putting up good stats with the worst quarterback probably of all time. Statistically speaking, in the first 4 weeks of the league. Baker's gold, more like Baker's mold. Cliff Kingsbury's dumb. I think that the Arizona Cardinals, their offense runs around DeAndre Hopkins. That's why they've been so bad. Like, he's gonna make they'll probably look pretty good and go on a little win streak here, and when DeAndre comes back, and then him and Marquise Brown, because he's just always there, always open. Marquise Brown ain't that guy. But
Zach Ertz is good.
Cliff Kingsbury's a bad coach, and Matt Rule's a bad coach, and it was just terrible football to watch. That's all I can say. Free DJ Moore, free Christian McCaffrey, James Conner's James Conner, free Hollywood, free. No, you know what? Don't free Hollywood. He's doing fine. Kyler's fine, but it's just bad.
I think James Conner's not very good.
I know, that's why I said James Conner's going to plot her around.
I'll tell you what, though. I don't know. McCaffrey's been just fine with Baker.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, I think
It's a miracle that he's good. Like, he's so good that Baker can even find him.
Well, yeah, I mean, he had 9 catches for 81 yards. I think, like,
garbage time.
At least, yeah, he'll throw it to he knows to throw it to McCaffrey.
I think that last in the garbage time, Baker figured it out. When in doubt, throw it to Christian McCaffrey. Something good's gonna happen. So I think maybe something clicked in his mind. Like, throw it to him. You know.
Was he? He wasn't before.
I think he had like 4 targets through the.
What about like
each game?
Oh, every game. Okay. Yeah, he's not very good. I mean, Baker was 22 of 36, 197 yards, a touchdown, and 2 picks against Arizona defense that has been kind of carved up, and he wasn't able to take advantage of that. But he still remains optimistic in the interviews. You know,
What is he gonna say, dude? I stink.
Well, he's been. I mean, I don't know, but
I'm waiting for Sam Darnold, man.
He's not gonna do any good either.
He's a paranormal investigator. He's gonna find Christian.
No, he's not very good. McCaffrey had 8 carries for 27 yards. He added 9 catches, 81, and a touchdown. DJ Moore 6 for 50.
Not bad. That's the best game of the year.
Yeah, it's a bad offense. Matt Rule has to get fired. Their defense is all right, I think, but they got to do something. Carolina has to do something. Next up is the Broncos and Raiders. Russell Wilson, 17 of 25, 237 yards, 2 touchdowns. He also added a rushing touchdown. I hate to break it to you guys, but Javonte Williams, he added 10 carries for 28 yards, and he left the game with a torn ACL, MCL, and LCL.
Why do the good die young?
And he will miss the remainder of the season.
Say it ain't so!
Mike Boone, 3 carries, 20 yards. KJ Hamler had a 55-yard catch. Judy and Sutton both scored. Both added 52 yards receiving. But obviously the big news for the Broncos was Javonte Williams. What do you have to say, man?
Javonte is my favorite player. Favorite player on the Broncos, on my favorite team. And it hurts, man. It really does hurt. We definitely took a hit. Already struggling, but that doesn't help the situation. It's just hard. He's young. He's good. It's never a good moment. But I want to say speedy recovery, Javonte. I also want to point out that this was the quietest ACL tear I've ever seen. He kind of went, under the radar, just got carted off, kind of, did his thing. No one really was freaking out like usually if someone got injured, it'd be all over the hemisphere. But, it's hard, but he took it like a man. He's going to recover like a man. He's going to be back, and he's going to be the best running back in the NFL history.
Big loss for Javonte, but Melvin Gordon's fumbling issues 4 times in 4 games. Is that an issue? Are you worried about Melvin Gordon taking on the lead role now that Javonte's out?
I used to be not concerned with the fumbling, but it continued this year, and it's been far worse. I think he has like 5 fumbles or something. 4. And now he's giving the ball to the other team so they have a chance to score. But at this point, he's our best player. He's a good running back, and we have to trust him. You have his back as a Broncos fan.
Is there trust? At some point there has to be a point where you can't trust him. With the amount of fumbles,
we don't have a choice.
He dropped some passes in this game. They benched him, and with Mike Boone coming in, but Mike Boone
dropped 2
passes as well. Yeah,
that's what we brought in. Latavius.
Laxative.
Hey, you better watch your mouth.
They didn't really have a running game in this game, so Russell took it upon himself. He was really good in the opening half, man. 11 of 12, 149 yards, 2 touchdowns before halftime. But coming out of halftime, they did not execute very well. And then for the Raiders, Derek Carr, 21 of 34, 188 yards, no touchdowns, no picks. But the ultimate, Josh Jacobs, 28 carries, 144 yards rushing, 2 touchdowns. He tore it up. Devontae Adams, 9 catches, 101 yards. Josh Jacobs added 5 catches, 31. Matt Collins, 3 catches, 33. Darren Waller, 3 catches, 24.
Yeah, I think the recipe for the Raiders to be successful is, feeding Josh Jacobs and Derek Carr being a game manager.
Yeah, the Raiders had to win this game. If they had lost, they'd been 0-4, which would have been the end of their season. I think realizing that Josh Jacobs is by far and away your best running back took Josh McDaniels about 7 months to figure that out. But he rumbled for his career high, 144 yards, did a lot of damage. Their defense chipped in, adding that fumble recovery for a touchdown. It was a game that Denver could have won.
It definitely, but
I think I expected more. I think this was a game offensively for Denver to kind of get right, kind of come out. We see Russell have his best game of the year. They should have scored more than 23 points.
yeah, they looked good in the first half. Like they figured some things out, and then the third quarter comes, and the fourth quarter they start stalling again.
Turnovers.
The penalties, the play calling, the Russell looks out of sync with the wide receivers. It's just we have to iron out all that and play 48 minutes? What is it?
What is it? Is it 14-minute quarters? 12 minutes?
Oh, I think it's 14.
Yeah. 56 minutes?
No one says it.
60 minutes?
48? 60 minutes between the lines, dude.
Something like that.
I don't know, man. It just hurts to lose my favorite player. But we have bright spots. Patrick Surtain is locked down. He's great. Go look it up. Go look at his highlights. He's real good. We got some. Randy Gregory got hurt too. It's just we need Russell to get it on.
Can I give an unbiased opinion?
Yeah, if it's unbiased.
Patrick Surtain is a top 5 cornerback in the NFL.
I agree. And that's not bias on my part either.
Yeah, it is, definitely. You're over here wearing your Broncos hat and bill. You got your Denver Broncos gown on tonight.
Yes, sir. My onesie with no butt.
Patriots and Packers. Brian Hoyer started this game, went 5 of 6, 37 yards, but then he got his head torn off.
Mm-hmm.
He was
it, a concussion?
He was headless horseman.
Mm-hmm.
Bailey Zappi came in 10 of 15, 99 yards and a touchdown. He did his job, man. They fought hard, the Patriots.
They did.
Damian Harris, 18 carries, 86 yards and a touchdown. Pretty good. Ramondre, 14 of 66 on the ground. Leading receiver was Nelson Aguilar, 3 catches, 46. Devontae Parker, 2 catches, 24 and a touchdown. Ramondre, 4 catches, 23 yards. Same old Patriots. You're going to hit the ground running. I mean, shout out to Bailey Zappi.
Did Damian Harris score?
Yes.
He scored in 19 of 20 games in his career, which is
really.
He's got a nose for the end zone. I like their running back core. I think Zappi
Yeah.
did a lot better than I was expecting when I heard Hoyer came out. I mean, he took the Packers to OT. Shouts out. I mean, what were we expecting? Not an overtime game with the Packers. I think we expected them to get their jaw knocked in. But a shout out for hard fought.
Yeah, they fought hard and they were able to. Every time the Packers were able to do something, score, force a 3 and out, the Patriots responded. They were able to get the ground game going. Zappi was able to find some open receivers, move the ball a little bit. But ultimately, the Packers, were able to pull it out.
Doesn't Zappi have a record?
College football?
Yeah, Case Keenum's record.
Yards and touchdowns.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had some of that spunk to him, so he might. What if he's the next Tom Brady?
He could be. You never know, man. I liked him.
Or the next Jeff Garcia.
He could be the next Lionel Salmons.
Dude, what the heck? Who's that?
I don't know, but I hope he's a real guy out there somewhere.
What, Lionel Solomons? Were you thinking of Lionel Hollins?
I guess I was thinking of Lima Swede and Lionel Hollins. Throw them together.
Respect, man. I hope there is someone out there and you gave him a shout out.
He's probably Swedish. Aaron Rodgers threw his 500th career touchdown to Romeo Dobbs. So congratulations, Aaron Rodgers. 500 is not an easy feat, and got you down in the record books.
His haircut's weird.
Okay.
You know what it looks like?
Yeah, man.
He looks like an anarchist.
He's allowed to.
It looks like a spineless.
What are you trying to say, huh?
I think he's taking a little too much of that ayahuasca on his head.
Well, he went 21 of 35, 251 yards, 2 touchdowns and interceptions.
It was a pick six.
It was to Jack Jones.
Is he someone we should be looking out for?
No.
Okay.
But this is the end of Aaron Rodgers.
I mean, don't blame him, and I don't blame the Packers.
I don't think he's not going to play much longer. This might be his last season. Maybe 1 year after this?
Isn't he under the book? Is it 2 years?
Maybe 3 years, but it's probably front loaded.
I mean, I wouldn't blame him for walking away or the Packers wanting him to walk away.
Why?
Because he doesn't look like he's having fun, and the Packers, it's time for a new face, dude. Because Aaron Rodgers, if he's not getting his way, he's pouting in the Pat McAfee show, he's pouting to the press conference, he's talking mean to the wide receivers. All that noise. He's a distraction.
Aaron Jones, 16 carries, 110 yards. A.J. Dillon, 17 carries, 73 yards. Christian Watson had a nice little end-around touchdown. Allen Lazard led the way with 6 catches, 116 yards. Romeo Dobbs, 5 catches, 47 yards and a touchdown. And then Bob Tonyan had a touchdown as well. They were able to pull this out in overtime. Good defenses, they played well, but Aaron Rodgers made enough plays in the clutch to win the game.
He did.
That's what he's good at, man, is those clutch plays. The Chiefs and Buccaneers, Sunday night. This was a battle, man. The Chiefs came out early, firing hot. Got up 14-zip on them quickly.
Shadow boxing.
They sure did, man. And Patrick Mahomes, I'm going to go ahead and say this and get it on record, is the greatest quarterback, most talented quarterback to ever play the game of football. I'm not saying that because of the one play. I've been saying that for a long time now. But I want to get it on record.
Are you saying that because he is the older brother of Jackson Mahomes?
I'm saying it because they're related.
I knew Jackson Mahomes had to factor into the greatest quarterback of all time. He's just nuts, honestly.
I think the narrative into this game made this game even more interesting because it was, Tom Brady, Tampa Bay trying to get right. They haven't looked very good the first 3 weeks. But then for the Chiefs, it was the revenge of the Super Bowl. So both these teams had these narratives. Both these teams were getting healthy, had some, a lot going together. But Patrick Mahomes put together a masterful performance.
Unstoppable. And I think Tampa Bay doesn't have a bad defense. They have a good defense.
They have a great defense.
They just got, all the play calls, what was it? What's that guy's name? Noah Gray's little, Patrick Mahomes was scheming over here, and he took the ball under center and snuck in. Tight end sneak.
Yeah.
They're doing it all, and I think it was a masterful game. And Tampa Bay was probably playing their hearts out for Florida after the storm. I think there's a lot on the line, a lot of energy in there. Tom Brady was, lights out. Godwin was back. Julio was playing. Mike Evans was back. But it wasn't enough. Sometimes, you run into a juggernaut on the wrong day, and you could play really well, but you're still going to lose, and I think that's what happened. But it was good. I think it was still, to me, a get-right game for Tampa Bay.
Yeah, they looked much better. Brady had to throw a lot in this game, obviously being down. But I think early and often, the moment that was like, dang, okay, this is going to be the Chiefs game, was the opening kickoff. Was a fumble.
Rachaad White, man.
And the Chiefs had it on on the Buccaneers 20, and they scored right then. And it was like, all right, the momentum's already for the Chiefs. Kind of said a lot. And then just sustaining drives after that. Clyde Edwards had 19 carries, 92 yards, and a touchdown, continuing to put up good numbers this year. And then Pacheco was even able to run on Tampa with 11 carries, 63 yards. Kelsey had a big game, 9 catches, 92 yards, and a touchdown. Valdez-Scantling hasn't been playing a lot, but he had 3 catches, 63 yards. Juju, 5 catches, 46. So they were able to do their due diligence against that Florida team.
Yeah, they looked like the old Chiefs, man.
Yeah, I guess it's good to see Clyde being able to actually do stuff with his work.
It's good to see him do stuff with the ball in his hands and his feet.
Yeah, it's like the first time in his career that he's been able to find
It's like
himself.
seeing a kid that hasn't walked yet and he starts walking.
Yeah, like that one kid in high school that was like super cool with everyone. He kind of gets lost in the shuffle when boys go to college, but then he comes back and he's still, a good.
He's a good old boy.
Good boy. He's still, a good guy.
He's still serving our country, man.
Yes. Tom Brady, man, 39 of 52, 385 yards and 3 touchdowns.
Hey, don't play with me, man. I got divorce papers on my desk.
And one divorce coming shortly.
Sad, dude.
Hey, man, he's choosing that ball is life lifestyle, and I gotta respect it.
He must have done something pretty scandalous, I think, on the side.
Choose what you love, man. If you love the game of football, take it over the family.
What if, what if he, has a ceremony of him getting, married to the football?
Yeah, I mean, that's what he did, really. He chose football over...
I don't know. I think there's more to the story.
He chose football over Giselle.
I think he chose a younger woman.
Oh, he's got something else going on.
I think he's scandalous.
He's getting seasonal?
I think he's being scandalous and a scoundrel.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, he's on the road a lot. He sees those little girls in the Tampa Bay Buccaneers beach. And he sees, wow, why would I have a 40-year-old wife when I can have a 27-year-old mistress?
Someone get this on ET, Entertainment Tonight.
Hey, shout out to Ime Udoka for being a scoundrel.
Nah, he's not a good man.
Yeah, now shout out. I take that back. You're scandalous. You had a beautiful wife and kid, and you ruined it.
I don't think they were married.
You had a beautiful, special, significant other,
yeah,
and a kid, and you ruined it. Listen, kings out there, stay loyal. They love you. You love them. There's no reason to go outside your marriage.
Are you
make vows.
Are you just assuming, or are there actually reports about him having a significant?
Tom Brady?
Yeah.
No, there's no reports, but it smells like sewage, and there's something more about it. It's not just that he picked football.
What if it's Giselle's mom?
His significant other?
Yeah.
I think we'd hear about that by now.
Wow.
Or literally, maybe he just loves the game. Like he goes.
I think
home,
it is that.
I think he goes home and plays Madden and watches tape instead of being with his wife and going on vacation.
He probably FaceTimes Bill Belichick more than Giselle.
Probably a lot of things going. Or Gronk.
I heard one that Giselle, he came home one day and Giselle was like, "You take the kids," left the kids and left, and hasn't came back since. Since she's been taking care of the kids for 35 years.
Yeah, but Tom Brady has millions of dollars to throw at the kids to keep them safe.
That's true. They both do.
He probably has a bilingual nanny.
But that's what happens, man. That shows you money does not buy happiness, because they're both filthy, very wealthy human beings, and they are divorcing each other.
It's true, and money definitely doesn't buy loyalty. It's a dwindling thing in our society, but I think it's the most courageous thing to do is to stay with the person that you chose to stay with instead of being extramarital or, being scandalous. I don't think there's room for that in this society, and it's getting too prevalent, and we need to put a stop to it.
It's very damaging.
It's horrible, especially for the person that it's happening to.
Yeah.
Imagine their trust issues. I mean,
you couldn't trust anyone.
I know, and it's sad. We shouldn't do that as men and as women.
And the mental... the toll on your mentality is horrible. You go into a deep, dark state.
You can ruin someone's life with that kind of stuff.
And
the kids, and I don't know. There's just a lot.
And then another thing in society, I noticed, it's a lot of people will be happy that they did it, or don't care.
They're proud of it,
and they'll just go and live their life, and the other person's like, "Dude, you literally ruined my mentality."
Rapper, a lot of famous people wear a badge of honor. It shouldn't be that way. You should be shamed for being not a good person. It's not. If you do that, you're not a good person.
You're not a good person. at the end of the day.
Yeah,
It's hurtful.
Yeah, if you've committed to someone, I mean, it's a commitment. That's commitments aren't taken as seriously these days, but we're trying to bring back, commitment and chivalry as men. Me and Luke are, and we're gonna, stay true to our word because we're not going with the trends of this worldly world. I don't like it. I think the trends that are going on are very evil and manipulative and disgusting, and I want to go the opposite direction and be good.
And it's not even natural. It's like forced. It's like these aren't real instincts that we have. Like it's just like what society is pushing on people. Like normal people wouldn't think like cheating is like an okay thing. Like it's always been like frowned upon, and like you're a horrible person. That was always like the thing growing up, and like nowadays it's like
they had an affair.
Podcast and YouTube. It's like all these disgusting like women and men, and just like it's like a normal thing, and like promote it and like don't care, and like it's just like a sick.
It's just another trend that I'm not into in the world these days.
So if you're dealing with someone that cheated on you, all you got to say is that person is a horrible human being. You move on. You'll find better things in life.
If you've been cheated on or you're being cheated on, just know that you dodged a bullet. They're gonna do it to the next person. Once a cheater, always a cheater. They say.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, it's just a horrible thing to go through and to be a part of. So, ladies, stay committed. Men, stay committed, and you'll be happy. I promise.
Last but not least, Monday night, last night. This was pretty much a domination. I think the 49ers just controlled this whole game from the start.
I want to start by saying their defense is really good, and now it makes me not feel as bad as a Broncos fan last week.
Oh, because they won.
They beat the Niners. It was like 10-11. Like everyone was like, "Man, this offense stinks," but maybe the 49ers defense is good.
Very good.
And I think the Rams have tunnel vision when it comes to Cooper Kupp.
Yeah, they've not looked the same. It's not the same offense that we've seen last year.
It's not fun anymore.
And their defense really hasn't held their own. I mean, they've lost by multiple touchdowns in the last, I think, 2 games so far this year.
I think Jalen Ramsey's losing it.
And, like, there's just offensive line problems. They had big injuries last night, but, like, Whitworth was a big deal. And Stafford just getting beat up, man. 7 sacks last night. Lost fumble. He's getting pressured. The only person he likes throwing to is Kupp. Like, teams understand that. Teams are starting to realize, like, we're going to give you Cooper Kupp. Cooper Kupp's not going to beat us. If we just let him go off, he gets 10, 15 catches, fine. But we're not going to give up the Allen Robinson big play. We're not going to give up, Tyler Higbee, whatever. You can have Cooper Kupp. Everyone else isn't going to do anything. And then we're just going to come after you with Nick Bosa and Von Miller, and we're going to eat you up.
Von Miller.
Yeah, they played the Bills week 1.
If you notice that Cooper Kupp didn't score and neither did the Rams. They're held to 3 field goals and I think that you make a very, very good point. Like you can have Cooper Kupp can get his 100 yards, 19 targets, 10 receptions, but if we lock down in red zone and hold you to field goals, we ain't gonna lose this game.
Right.
And Jimmy Garoppolo played really well. He played.
He's okay.
He played like Jimmy Garoppolo, a game manager. He's not. If you just
average to below average, yeah.
Yes, but with that defense and if he does everything right, they're gonna win the game.
I mean, that is the Debo, that 57-yard crazy catch and run. He broke like 19 tackles.
And he destroyed Jalen Ramsey's whole soul.
And then the Jeff Wilson 32-yard scamper for a touchdown. I mean, those were the 2 big plays that the 49ers hit.
What was Jimmy G's stats?
He finished 16 of 27, 239 yards and a touchdown.
That's all you can ask from Jimmy.
He's not good, but he's not bad.
But if he plays within himself and doesn't try to do too much,
let the defense win you the game.
Yeah, that's all he needs to do. That's always been. That's always ever been. That's all
Because
it'll ever be.
the one thing you can count on the Niners for certainty is they're going to take out your run game. Rams didn't do anything. Cam Akers had 8 carries for 13 yards. I don't know if he's bad or what, but Fred Warner and the boys and co. That's the one thing you can count on. And then if you're getting after Stafford like that, there's no chance. And if that's what they can do, and Jimmy G can, continue to be Jimmy G, they'll be all right.
That was the week 4 wrap up. Went through the matchups and the stats. We'll be back for our our week 5 preview. Stay tuned. We love you guys. Have a great week. Thanks for the support. Take care of yourselves. This is another episode of Forget What You Heard. Peace, love, and happiness.
Motorhead.